So I came across these LED strip lights on Amazon not too long ago while I was shopping for, I don't know, just looking through Amazon for fun, I guess. And they were only $20, so I bought 2 of them. So, like I said, I bought 2 of them. I bought one of them as an accent light for my room, right above the fish tank. I mean, you can't really see that right now because my overhead lights are on and they're really bright. However, for strip lights, I think these are actually pretty good in brightness. However, they are dimmable, so if they're too bright for you, you can always dim them down to a lower level. So what you get in the box is a ream of strip lights, which I believe is 14 feet, but if I'm wrong, I'll overlay that in the video. You get a converter box, and this one happens to be Bluetooth and not the remote control one. However, you can opt for remote control if Bluetooth is not your thing. Other than that, I mean, you get an instruction manual, which, let me tell you, you definitely need it. Okay, so the good things about the strip lights is I think they're very bright. The app is very responsive. I mean, as soon as I change a setting, it's nearly instant. Supposedly you can get music to work with this, but I haven't been able to get that to work. But that is a feature that's listed in here, but for 20 bucks I'm not really complaining. The app also has a lot of other interesting features as well, like you can have them flash when you bring a call in, you can have it play to music, you can have different patterns flashing with the LED lights. I personally just chose to have one solid color. Okay, so here's the cons. First of all, they're not waterproof. At least they're not listed as waterproof, however, I am still going to try that. They're not listed as waterproof, however, I suspect they might have some amount of water resistance, or at least not, like, get damaged right away, because if you look at this, it looks like everything's pretty well sealed up in there. I mean, there's a couple electronic pieces on top, and there's like copper contacts in the middle. However, it looks pretty well sealed, so we're going to try and line the fish tank with it. It's not going to be directly submerged in the water, it's just going to be on top of the grate, just to kind of get rid of these bulky lights up here that seem to burn out like literally every other day. There's really only one significant downside that I found, and that is the adhesive is horrible. Now, if you plan to use the adhesive on the back of the LED strip to stick it to whatever surface that you're going to stick it to, I wouldn't count on it. I tried sticking this to my ceiling, which the part that I stuck it on is relatively flat and relatively smooth, so it shouldn't really have an issue sticking to it, and they fell down the next day. So, be sure to plan for having to use additional tape or getting hot glue or super glue or something like that to hold them up. Or if you're going to be hanging it over, I don't know, whatever, that can be zip tied, then use zip ties. Another downfall, which I don't think is very much of a downfall because it didn't take much to figure it out, the app is very confusing. Okay, so my biggest gripe is that the app, when you first load it up, it just shows that it's loading constantly. And you'd think that you have to wait for it to stop loading. However, if you just tap on it, it goes away. Second of all, in the device list, there's a little device list on the left-hand side of the app that shows all of your available devices. So in my case, it would have 2 of these as soon as this one's installed. It's kind of confusing how you pair it. So there's a little X on the left-hand side of it, and sometimes there's nothing at all, and I don't understand why that is. It's probably just a glitch or something in the app. But if you click the X, then it pairs it. And it's not like your normal Bluetooth where you have to pair one side and pair the other and confirm it on both ends. It's kind of like a low-level Bluetooth receiver, not really a transmitter. So you don't need to enter in any codes, you don't need to like officially pair it in Bluetooth or anything like that. You just go into the app and it's always broadcasting. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and install these lights onto the fish tank and we'll see what kind of difference it makes. I am expecting it to be a lot dimmer than these current lights. Well, brighter than that one that just went out. Like I said, it goes out literally every other day. These lights, for reference, are 25 watts each, and they're LEDs, so that's about 100 watts of LEDs. That is extremely, extremely bright. That would be like having 400 or 500 watts worth of incandescent bulbs. This, I'm expecting to be like half as bright, or maybe even a quarter as bright, just because they're not very powerful. I mean, simple as that. But what I'm looking for with these is to have dimmer lights so that I'm not having a whole bunch of algae growth in the fish tank, and that I can change the colors and have it like a, red at night or something like that, or make the fish look really cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm just zip tying the LED strips to the top grate of the fish tank. This way it's a little bit easier, although I did discover that they are not flexible. So you do have to do some weird maneuvering to get it to fit correctly if you want to make a turn. But installation's pretty straightforward otherwise. They have these little tabs in between with a little scissor indicator. So on the LED strip it has these little tabs with scissors on it. That's indicating where you can cut it. And they have one of those every, I don't know, 1 or 2 inches. I don't know how far that is, probably 2 inches. And you can safely cut there if you have too much length. Now, we got the lights all installed. Let's see what it looks like. Honestly, it's not too bad. And here we go. I mean, it's a little bit dark. Again, it's probably better as an accent light for your fish tank and not like the main lights. But it does put off pretty good for the price point. All in all, I'd say that this LED light strip was very well worth it. However, I'm probably not going to use it as my main source of light. As you can see, I still have 2 of the 4 lights that I used to have, just to provide the main light source during the daytime, and then at nighttime I'll probably switch it to the LED strips. If I had to say, would I buy these lights again? I would probably buy them again. In fact, I'll probably buy even more of them just for the remainder of my room. Maybe throw some behind my TV or, line my desk with it. I think it'd be pretty cool. They're really cool lights, and clearly they're at least somewhat water resistant. The app is a little bit finicky, and if you're not very technically inclined, I would probably recommend going the route of the remote. They do sell them with the actual remote instead of with Bluetooth, which in my opinion is a little bit easier to use. I used to have a set of those lights, I don't anymore, but it was the same exact lights, just had a remote. Same price and everything. In fact, I think it might be even slightly cheaper with the remote, but it's super easy to use. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If there's anything I can improve on, be sure to mention it in the comments below. The links to the LED strips will be in the description below, and I hope to be bringing out more product reviews here shortly.